In the UK, approximately 52% of work-related ill health is due to stress, depression, and anxiety. And on average, each person that takes time off work due to stress-related, work-related ill health takes off approximately 22 working days. Just over 4 weeks off work because of stress. And as someone who works with organizations to help them support their workforce, I've seen firsthand how simple and effective methods and systems can help companies reduce horrendous statistics like these to create a happier, healthier, and more stress-free workplace. And before I share with you 4 ways to tackle stress-related absence in the workplace, I first need to tell you about Sarah. Obviously, not her real name for obvious reasons. Sarah is the wellbeing lead and someone that I've worked with for many years within her organization. And she was responsible for initiatives that support employees throughout her organization throughout the whole year. She would organize online webinars, in-person workshops, awareness day campaigns, and her colleagues loved her. But Sarah didn't feel that she was being backed by her organization. She was constantly battling to try and get initiatives over the line, and she was continuously stressed out because she wasn't being supported, even though she was the one responsible for supporting others. Sarah became increasingly stressed and so frustrated that she started to look for other job roles. Unfortunately, she landed a dream job with another organization who was willing to invest and support their people. Now, since Sarah has left her previous organization, there has been no one to organize these wellbeing initiatives, no one responsible for supporting the team members and the staff with their health, wellbeing, and stress. And this has had a massive negative impact on the organization. And there have been numerous amounts of other individuals who have been so stressed out that they've decided to leave because they haven't felt supported within their organization. And this is a true story because I work with Sarah, and since she's left, her previous company seemed to be going through a real hardship. So to make sure your organization or workplace doesn't end up like Sarah's previous company, let's look at 4 ways to reduce stress-related absence in the workplace. 1. Now, I mentioned that Sarah used to organize wellbeing initiatives. And although they don't directly target the stress an individual is facing at any given moment, they offer a continuous support throughout the year. Wellbeing initiatives like workshops around Stress Awareness Month, World Wellbeing Week, or International Women's Day, or Movember, these are all great initiatives to help employees feel supported. When initiatives are continuously helping to support people, it helps them to feel better about their job role, ultimately reducing their chances of work-related stress. Now, I know for organizations it can be confusing what wellbeing initiatives to organize throughout the year, which is why at Love and Life we've got a free wellbeing calendar that highlights the key dates of specific wellbeing initiatives that take place throughout the year. And if you want the wellbeing calendar for 2026, head to the first link in the description box and download it absolutely free so that you can plan wellbeing initiatives effectively throughout your year to support employees, ultimately helping them to reduce stress and reduce time off work. 2. When people are stressed in their job role, there's often warning signs early on. These warning signs could be behavioral changes among individuals. They could now be suddenly turning up to work later than normal. They might start to look like they're not taking care of their health. They might become more snappy in meetings. Or they might become more withdrawn. There are lots of signs that happen in a workplace that highlight that people are feeling stressed. And when these signs occur, companies need to start taking action to support their people. And it's your workplace's role to find out the challenges and put in systems and methods to help reduce stress. 3. One of the biggest reasons people feel stressed in their job role is because they are overwhelmed and overloaded with work. They sometimes just have too much on and they're not equipped to deal with it. And there are a range of ways companies can support their team members and colleagues when they're feeling overwhelmed. And one of them is to just fix the workload. Now, I know it might be easier said than done in some companies, but if people are overstretched, Does that mean hiring temps to help tackle the workload? Does that mean helping to educate team members on how to prioritize more effectively? Does that mean helping them to delegate tasks to others who could do their tasks? It needs to be relevant for your organization. But if someone is so overwhelmed with work and they then take time off work because of stress, that's another 22 working days that they won't be tackling that work, and someone else will have to take over, or it might not get done, which then can have a negative impact on the company and the organization. Wouldn't it be better if we implement prevention methods to support this before it all happens, rather than having to deal with the consequences of not supporting people with their workloads? 4. They say that people don't leave companies, they leave managers. And in some cases, that is absolutely true. When people don't feel supported by their manager or their people around them that they report to, they are more likely to leave. Not only because they're not being supported with their stress, but they're not being supported overall. So the 4th thing I want to talk about is improving support options for people. If people are not being supported, they are more likely to feel stress, ultimately improving the chances of them taking time off work because they are stressed. So what does support options look like in your workplace? Well, it could be the EAP program, highlighting to people the key support options that are available and encouraging them to use it. One of the things that I find working with organizations is that some have some fantastic systems set up, but how many employees are actually aware that they exist? How many employees are actually aware that they can take action by accessing these resources? And how many people actually take action to utilize these resources? If there are support options available already, this needs to be a continuous message to team members that these are your options available. If you are struggling, contact this. Companies and workplaces need to be offering continuous support for their team members. The work doesn't stop. When someone is stressed out in their job role and stressed out in their work, they experience a support option that month, for example, a workshop. They feel great, they feel amazing, they feel inspired, they've learned lots of methods of how to reduce their stress and manage it. And then 3 months later or 6 months later, they experience another form of stress in their job role, and they haven't been reminded of the methods and the tips they were taught earlier on in the year to help reduce their stress. So support options needs to be a continuous thing, not a one-off exercise, not a one-off tick box. It needs to be continuous. And one of the ways you can support team members and colleagues and people in the workplace to reduce their stress is with specific meetings to support their well-being. And for 7 meeting ideas that can not only help to improve well-being, but also performance, you need to watch this video here. But remember, a happy workforce is a productive workforce.